Dude, I'm so mad. Dude, Craig Kimbrell has to be the worst ever at stopping runners from fucking stealing.
Yeah, he's always
Oh,
been
let's
bad
get
at
on base.
that.
Let's hang our arm like this, and then I'll go second or third on you, and then it'll be a fly ball. We'll tie the fucking game. Blowing save in your debut, you loser. I'm out of breath.
Baseball season, baby. It's
I'm pissed,
here.
man. Oh, and you said it too. You needed 1.5, and you're like, they should go to extras. And
This
then,
is
oh,
perfect. This is perfect.
for
Now we can
you,
no for
I'm
all of
losing
us.
2 years off my life for 2 runs.
The Orioles are gonna get a win, and we're gonna win our bet. It's unbelievable. Orioles, are you watching?
No, I'm in the other room.
Oh, come on, you gotta get a better setup.
I've been watching. I'm trying to get you with you. I'll be right back.
Go watch it. I bet Orioles -1.5 on so bet tonight and put my money on it as I always do. I always take my picks, and they took a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the eighth. I'm like, oh great. Kimbrel blows it 4-4. I said, Chris is all upset. He's an Orioles fan. He said, Chris, relax. They're gonna walk it off with a 2-run bomb. And what did they do, Chris? What did the O's do? They walked it off with a 2-run
Let's
bomb.
go.
You
You run
win.
all around, you cute little Royals. Keep running. Keep running. We'll hit pop.
Let's go. That's a big win for the pod,
You
baby.
were right. I hate that you were right. Let's go. Rich Arleo is a baseball guru.
I am just I've
Oh,
been doing well. We're 1-1 on the early plays. I had the Rays starter, what the hell's his name? Pepio, who they got in the Glass Now trade, had him over 5.5 Ks. He pitched well. He gave up a 3-run homer in the first. I'm like, oh shit. But he rebounded, he pitched well. But did not get the strikeouts. And then I think he got hit hard again in like the sixth, so he was out. But he finished with 4 strikeouts, I think 3 or 4. Not good, but 1-1. But we got 3 late plays tonight. I got a Soto homer prop, which homer props are tough. I only got a quarter of a unit on her. But yeah, I'm doing well so far. We're 14-12 as of now, up about 4 units. So MLB, man, that's the sport. We love it.
let's
And
go. It's our season.
that's why we're here tonight. We're here to officially preview the 2024 Major League Baseball season.
Let's go.
We've been waiting for it. The fellas have been waiting for it. I'm excited. We shared out our division winner predictions with preseason odds, but we're still going to talk about those tonight. We're going to give some analysis on those. We just shared the picks, so we'll dive into the divisions, talk about some of the teams there, give out some maybe our wild card teams, who's going to be in the the Championship Series, World Series, and who's going to win the major awards, the Cy Young and the MVP and Rookie of the Year. Let's do it all. We're going to do it all tonight.
Oh, great. Great.
You ready?
I'm in. Let's do it.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we could dive right in with the team we were just talking about in the division that we all know and love, the best division in baseball.
Best division in sports.
I would say, yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Um, my New York Yankees, your Baltimore Orioles, also the Boston Red Sox, Toronto Blue Jays, and Tampa Bay Rays. Last year, 3 teams in the AL East made the playoffs. Yankees and Red Sox excluded. 3 teams lost in the first round of the East, so that didn't go very well.
Yeah, that was rough.
But it was the Orioles who won the division, and it's been a terrible 7-8 years leading up to the last 2 seasons before this. I'd say when Brandon Hyde came on, you start to see some building, and then all the kids that you're able to draft with your high draft picks after sucking for 7-8 years.
It's not 7 or 8 years. I mean, we did have Machado. We
No.
did have the Chris Davis miracle season. We did have plenty of
Mhm.
good stuff that they didn't need to rip apart. But glad that they did the past 5 years.
Okay, 5 years. It's a
And
long time.
yeah, it's been a long time. Well, it's been a while.
Been
It's
a
been
while.
It's been quite some time since my father's Orioles of the Ripken Eddie Murray days and everything, but I'm super excited as long as we can keep the young core intact, or at least some of them intact, and survive like the Astros did, because that's our front office, is the old Astros front office, not the players. So don't start talking about trash cans or anything. But at the same time, we need to make sure that the attrition is something that works in our favor. And when you lose guys, you're able to backfill or whatever. So super pumped about the O's. What I'm more excited about is the Norfolk Tides are hitting as a team like 600 or 500 in their first like 5 games. It's like, we've got backups and people ready to come up, from guys who weren't drafted by this regime, like Mountcastle or Hayes or Mullins, or even the Rule 5 pick in Santander. Those guys are holdovers, and they've been
Marty
great.
Taters.
No reason to get rid of them,
No.
but we've got guys that are waiting in the wings, and either that means you let a few guys go that you don't have to spend money on, who have produced for us for years, or you trade them and maybe get some bullpen arms, maybe get a back of the rotation starter, or consolidate your talent into some upper echelon talent when it comes to pitching. So I'm really hoping they don't get rid of any of the prospects, but what they've done so far, and only letting Joey Ortiz go and DL Hall go, who are like tier 2, tier 3 prospects
That was a
for
good
us,
trade. That was a great
totally
trade.
fine with that. Corbin Burns looks electric,
Mhm.
starting off great. So I'm excited about this year. We were a year early um, last year,
Yes.
technically.
Yes.
Maybe 2 years ago, we were a little bit early as well. I think we won 80 something games the year
Started to
prior.
show it. Yeah, started
Yeah,
to show
so
it.
it's starting to really bear fruit. But this year is supposed to be the year, so I'm really hoping it happens. Hopefully, we have a freaking closer that we can depend on, because I miss the mountain and Felix Bautista, but
Yeah,
at the same time, we won. So,
he's out for the whole year, or at least most of the year.
but I think the whole year.
There's no chance he comes back late.
Don't think so.
Yeah, so you got
Pretty
to
sure it's
rely
the whole
on
year.
Kimbrel and potentially maybe Cano if Kimbrel falls apart. I mean,
I would love to rely on Cano.
yeah, he came kind of out of nowhere last year
Yeah.
and became one of the most reliable setup men in baseball. And they had one of the best bullpens in baseball, one of the best back ends of the bullpen for sure. So I mean, they won 101 games last year,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and got
I'm
better. They got better this year by getting Burns, and they didn't lose anybody
it
really of
wasn't until
note.
they had to sit out for being division winners for like 7 games that they lost momentum going into the Rangers series. So I'm I don't love that, again, like for any division winner, not just because it happened to my team, but it's not necessarily vaulting you into the second round if we're making a whole nother round out of the wild card or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. But new year, new leaf, new me, new us. Let's go.
Yeah,
Same us.
yeah.
But
So I mean, AL East, you've got the Orioles, and I also have the Orioles winning it.
this
Now,
was a reverse psychology pick, I think.
yeah, it probably was. It definitely was. It's one of those, if the Orioles win it, I look good. But if they don't, I think the Yankees are going to be right there. Now, I made this pick before I watched the New York Yankees sweep the Houston Astros in Houston in 4 games. And Juan Soto, holy shit, dude. Like, look, I know he's red hot right now. He's not going to be like this all season, but I was one of
He
those
might.
guys. He might. I was one of those
He's a
guys
guy that could
who
do it.
I knew Juan Soto was a top 5 player, but I had that like, he walks too much. You'd like to see him hit a little bit more. He's not the best in right field. So I would put him, I always put him below Acuna and one or two other guys. But this guy is the best hitter. It's 4 games, and I've watched him obviously before, but the way his at bats, and we knew this, his eye was unbelievable. But what I didn't realize was just how he can react to a pitcher and say, "Oh, okay, you threw that. All right, so I saw that pitch. I know where that's coming." So,
Yeah.
I mean, he had the winning the go ahead run in game 4 on Sunday. Glaber stole second and was running to third, and he had seen, and this was against Josh Hader, who one of the best relievers in baseball. He,
Allegedly.
yes, I mean by numbers, I'd say, yeah. And he was in two other games in the series. The Yankees couldn't hit him, but Glaber blooped one, stole second, and then was running on pitch. And Soto had seen the breaking ball on the outside edge before, and he takes the bat, he sees it, and just flicks it over. Yankees win. I mean, this is unbelievable. And my official prediction is Orioles to win the AL East. I always had said I was going to say even before this 4-game series, the Yankees are going to be right there. I think the Orioles win 100 something games again, 100, 101. I think they're around what they were at last year. I know it's hard to repeat that, but I think they got better. They didn't lose anybody. They got a year experience under their belt. It's going to be tough. But I think the Yankees are right there with 97, 98 wins. And, if it'll come down to the series between them, I think. And ultimately, I think the Orioles win it. But if the Yankees come up, I'll be okay with that. And I think you have another playoff team in the division. I think it's the Blue Jays for me. They're a wild card this year. I think the Rays finally fall off a little bit. It's been like, I call them kind of a house of cards. Like, they're just, I don't know how they've been doing it.
I don't recognize half their guys again this year.
It's
crazy. Who the heck's this Caballero guy? His last name's literally Cowboy in Spanish. I want to love him. Like Isaac Paredes last year came out of nowhere for me. Yes. I had no idea who the hell he was.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was on the Tigers, but he was never like these guys. They find these guys. Jose Siri was an Astros cast off. They find these guys and they just get the best out of them. They always do. Credit to that organization.
I don't want to jump the gun here, but Aaron Savali might be a dark horse for the Cy Young.
Yeah,
who would have thought that?
He had a great first start.
Going back to Juan Soto, man, I remember, and like you said, it was a rough 5 years for me. So I dove across the Beltway a little bit and pretended to be a Nats fan for a while. I've seen a lot of Juan Soto, and it's exactly what you're saying, dude. His eye is up there with Adley. It's the best I've ever seen, like ever. Like, and Adley's a catcher, so he's got that advantage. Juan Soto's an outfielder, right. And he's still incredible at selecting pitches. And then he progressively learns. And I remember this from the Nationals playoff run, is the dude is prepared as hell. He is ready for anything, and he's not willing to overextend himself or, make himself look silly chasing a pitch. Like he'll wait for his pitch. He'll wait for the pitcher to do what the pitcher does, and then he'll capitalize. Just flicking it over the shortstop or whatever it was. The dude will do whatever it takes to win as well, which is awesome. And then again, you saw his arm too. I just feel like the Yankees missed out on 2 years with this guy, and they better sign him soon. Like, because he clearly wants to be there. He's clearly having fun. And, it's just going to come down to numbers. And
it comes down to Scott Boras, who I've been shitting on for the past couple of weeks and who deserves to be shit on. Look, if a miracle happens and Soto's like, you know what, screw this. The Yankees just offered me $500 million. I'm taking it. I want to stay here. Phenomenal. But Boras clients never sign during the year. They go to free agency, and that's probably what he's going to do. And they're going to use Steve Cohen and the Mets to bump that number up as high as they possibly can. And the Dodgers will probably be in the mix too, because they just defer their contracts to the 3000s, and they'll pay it eventually, right? Because that's a thing. But we'll see. But I think if all goes well, I mean, he clearly likes it here. At least now he's having fun. And it's a long season. He hasn't even been in the Bronx yet, where the Dominican flags are going to be flying. And it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time in the Bronx this year.
The vuvuzelas, let's bring them.
No. Let's not do that.
Oh, my God. If we need that place to be any more of a fucking zoo of animals, and oh, my God.
Let's go. Oh, I can't. I only went to one game last year, and it was a bad year in general. A lot of injuries, but I need to get out there more. I just have to.
We're gonna head down to Camden Yards together, the #1 ballpark in all of baseball.
Yes, we're gonna do that with our buddy Polly. At least we got to plan something. Polly, who came on for the NBA preview, we have to do that, and we have to we just gotta get out to baseball games, man. We just have to do it. So anyway, AL East, we both believe it'll be your Baltimore Orioles. Moving on to
fake pick from you, though. That's a fake pick. Whatever.
It's not a fake pick.
It's a fake pick.
It's a kind of the hedge. It's the emotional hedge.
You ever see the Muppets Treasure Island, when the guy at the very beginning, he's in the bar and he gets the message with the black spot on it,
I haven't seen
And
that
then
in a
everybody's like,
long
"Oh, the
time.
black spot. That means he's dead, or whatever." That's what you just did to the Orioles. You handed us a black spot.
Good. Good. That was the plan all
Yeah, I know. Hey,
along. Hey,
let's
but
move on.
tonight, I mean, I told you let Kimbrel blow it, and then they could walk it off at 2-run homer, and there you go. I seem to know. I
There's
seem to
more waste than
know
him, Jack Flaherty. Like, like
that
let's just
was
waste
yeah.
more. But whatever, we're good.
I seem to know what I'm talking about. That's all I'll say.
Ish.
Anyway, moving on. AL Central has been the worst division in baseball, I'd say, for
Yeah.
some time now. The Twins and Guardians have kind of been battling it out at the top there, while the rest of the division has languished, to say the least. Um, I think there's a dark horse this year. I think there's a new team to win it all. Well, not win it all, but win the AL Central. You disagree, but I think, and I'll go ahead and say it, I think the Tigers make a lot of noise this year, and they win the division behind an influx of youth that they've been waiting on. They have a impressive rotation of guys like Casey Mize, who's been hurt but has not a former first round pick, and a guy who um, has the pedigree, as we say.
Yeah. You
They're
won't trade him to be a dynasty. I got you.
well, I've offered you trades, you just won't trade with me. Now, let's not get into that. I mean, come on. But they have a solid rotation led by, I'd say, led by Taras Skubal, who had an unbelievable first start. He had a great year last year. He's great. He's looked great this spring. He's a candidate for Cy Young and a guy who is a bona fide number one who a lot of people don't know about yet. But I think they will this year, as I think the Tigers make some noise. The rest of the rotation, Mize is key. They
Matt
have
Manning.
Knight, Kent, not yeah, Matt Manning. I don't know if he's pitched yet. Flaherty had a good first start. He'll be interesting. I don't really buy into his resurgence, but I do like the team. Spencer Torkelson is kind of your stud in the middle of that lineup.
Yep.
He had a bad rookie year, but then sophomore year really put it all together. He's got pure power. He's a middle of the order guy. Kerry Carpenter is underrated, I think, as a power guy in a DH. And Riley Green is another guy with the pedigree, a top prospect who is starting to show it. So they've got the pieces. They got Colt Keith is another. He's got off to a slow start this first weekend, but he's another power prospect. They got power and they got pitching. Um, I don't think they're a serious threat in the postseason if they do make it, but who knows? Because everybody said, the Diamondbacks last year were that cute, like, oh, young team, making a run. They'll be fun. Maybe they'll make the playoffs, but in the World Series. So it's you never know. You absolutely never know. You say you're a year too early, or you never. There's the window. If the window's open, it's open, and you take advantage. So
Right. The window's now for the Tigers. I get it. I mean, and if you follow what you're talking about with the D-backs, they have the same blueprint, man. The power hitting first baseman. Everybody wants a Corbin Carroll. You've got Riley Green right there. Cole Keith is a Ketel Marte-esque player. I mean, you have all the pieces that are there. Scooble, you can comp them to Gallon, right? You have all the pieces, and the Tigers have sucked for so long that they should be there, and that window should be open now. And you're right. It's really actually a very smart pick to pick them to win the division.
damn
Long
smart.
season, you get the starters. As long as their bullpen holds up and their players live up to their potential, I think they're going to be just fine. Um, I went with the Twins though, and the
Yes.
Twins are the steady eddies of the group. They're I think the most talented, ready team to do it in the division. But you lose a Royce Lewis, early on. That's tough. Who knows if Correa stays healthy? Who knows if Julian stays healthy at second? Who knows? Honestly, there's a lot of question marks for
Buxton,
Minnesota
another
for
injury
sure.
guy.
Yeah. And you don't have the depth of starting pitching that Detroit does, but I think you have a little more experience around the diamond, kind of been there before, been there, done that. So I took the Twins, just almost as like a holdover pick for Yeah, until they don't do it, until somebody else does it, I'm gonna keep picking the Twins. I mean, I believe in the Guardians. I think Bieber has a resurgent year. I think Class A stays healthy and their bullpen's dirty. But I look at their lineup, I'm like, what is Josh Naylor can't do it all? Like Jose Ramirez can't do it all again for another year. Like, so we'll see with them, but I think the Twins are the most complete team and the most experienced team.
Yeah, I think they're I mean they're the favorite and they have the pitching too. I think they have probably the best rotation top to bottom in baseball, although Bailey Ober got crushed in his first start, and I thought he was going to be a nice key piece. He still could be. It's one start, but
Right.
and Sonny Gray's still coming back from injury, but
Still got steady Pablo.
yeah, yeah. He's some people like to call him an ace. I don't think he is at all, but he's a very strong, solid two or three who can hold down that rotation. So it's a division that's finally improving. You have three teams now that can make some noise, and the Royals are starting to be a little bit more fun again. Um, with some kids playing. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. is one of the best players in baseball, and I think they got a little bit more pitching this year, but not their time. So
I mean, they
The
spent a
White
lot in
Sox
the
are going to get back there.
offseason, so they're gonna go for it. Just
They
watch
signed some
now. It seems
veterans.
like they're
Yeah.
gonna run.
Yeah. They signed some veterans. I mean, Michael Walker was a good signing, a cheap guy who a lot of real contenders could have used. I was surprised that he went there for cheap.
Yeah,
Yes, they did actually spend, I think they were top five in free agent spending.
yeah, there
I might
was
have
a
just pulled that out of
considerable
my
amount.
ass, but it's,
And nobody noticed. I mean, it
yeah,
was,
no, no.
kind of a fart in the wind. They're still the Royals,
Yes,
it is
yes,
what it is. But they'll go as far as Bobby Wood will take them.
yes,
He's
yes.
gonna be
And
special.
maybe 80 games, maybe 80 wins. We'll see. But I think it's the Tigers' year, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Twins do take it.
Go Twinks.
Yeah. Going over to the AL West, I begrudgingly picked the Astros here. The Yankees might have just buried them week one, opening weekend, 0-4 start. But they're the favorite in the division. I could not pick against them. They've been doing it now for a long time. Um, Now, how they've been doing it may not have been straight laced, and they've been proven cheaters, and probably are still trying to find ways to cheat. Would not put it past them. I think last year and now to start this year, they've actually struggled at home, which is funny because they probably finally got rid of their cameras and their garbage cans and all their bullshit. I can't stand that organization, but you got to give it to them. They haven't gotten in any trouble for anything for some reason, and they've been winning a lot. And I think that they ultimately do win this division again, but I think it's going to be very tight. And I do think that there's three teams in this division that make the playoffs this year. Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I picked the Astros too, but I don't have the rant against cheaters like you do because your team was lumped into that as well. So just gonna say that. But anywho,
Not
not
even
as
close to
egregious.
what they did. No,
Not, but
no,
still a little bit of cheating.
no,
Yeah.
no. It wasn't because what they did was not against the
This
rules.
is a pointless conversation with
No,
a wall, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
but
It's
yes, I
just, I
picked the
mean, the fact
Astros
that you
too.
try to lump the Yankees in there with it, it's
They
just
are. They're the
crazy.
same. Your
It's,
hatred for the Astros is 20. Okay, I'm not in my 20s. 30 some odd years of hatred for the Yankees still.
I get
So,
it. I get it. You're doing it for a reason. I understand. You're
but
wrong, but
we
it's
didn't
fine.
pick the Athletics here. We didn't
Yeah.
pick the Mariners. We didn't pick the Angels. And the Rangers do look like they might have been the smart pick after the Yankees just embarrassed the Astros and put them in the ground for the first series. I will say that the Astros, they got really lucky that the COVID season had no fans because they deserved what they had coming to. I
Yeah.
will say that. They got
Yep.
very lucky. But
Yep.
I picked the Astros too. I think they're again too deep, too talented. They've got too many Hispanic guys that all blend together. Christian Javier and Framber Valdez might as well be the same guy to me. Like I did just all throw really hard. They all do the same thing. They got 14 closers in the bullpen now. So,
Yeah.
it is what it
We
is.
we
As long as
crushed their
Tucker
bullpen. We crushed their
good.
bullpen this
Well,
weekend.
good. They deserve it. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
But
Um,
Framber Valdez looks like he's throwing a wiffle ball out there. They're probably using some kind of substance on the ball, but I mean,
All right,
Valdez
we both picked the
literally.
Astros. Let's move on.
All right, before we move on to the NL, let's talk AL wild card. So for me, Texas, uh, World Series champs, could very well win the division, but make the wild card. And then the odd team out is the Seattle Mariners because I think they are very good. I think they'll be right there. But your New York Yankees, if they don't win the division, they will be the top wild card.
I agree.
So it'll be your
Those
Yankees and Blue Jays. I think it's another season where the AL East has three playoff teams,
I do too.
and then the Rangers.
I do too. But like you said, there are some good teams waiting in the wings if that doesn't happen. I mean, even if the Twins win, it could be Detroit right after them. If the Astros win, it could be Texas right after them. It could be the Astros, Texas, and Seattle. The AL is really good this year, and I don't think there's much of a middle class,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. I think the cream of the crop is there, and that's it. All right. So to wrap up the AL, we have the same wild cards: Yankees, Blue Jays, Rangers. On to the National League, the NL East. That is another great division. Um, you got two great teams in that division, I'd say. And then everybody else. The Mets are pretty much clearly not in it this year. I don't know what they did this offseason. Steve Cohen's got all that money, but he doesn't want to spend it yet. I guess they're waiting for the right time. They
Year
think
two,
they
let's
have.
change our whole philosophy. I love it.
It's crazy. And yeah, we'll just get Juan Soto. Yeah. Okay. Good luck with that. Um,
Yeah, good luck with that.
good luck with that. But the Braves and the Phillies are the class of that division. It's been an incredible rivalry of late. The Phillies took them down and went further last year, even though it was the Braves who won the division. But I think the Braves do it again. I don't know if they are as good as they were last year. I have them at under their total 101.5 wins. I think they're right around 98, 99. Um, but they've got it all. They have the best offense, maybe aside from the Dodgers, and the Phillies are up there as well. But I mean, that's the class of the NL right there. But the Braves with Ronald Acuna Jr., who I said it, him and Bo Bichette are my two favorite non-Yankees to watch play baseball. They're just electric. Ronald Acuna had a 40-70 season last year. And people want to say, oh, it's because they changed the rules and it's easier to steal. Okay, who else stole 70 bases? Who else stole 60 bases? No, nobody. This guy is unbelievable. He could do it all as long as he's healthy. It's weird. It's still weird to me that they won the World Series a couple years ago with him hurt, and it was trade deadline where they just got Adam Duvall and Jorge Soler. It's like, all right, let's rebuild the outfield, and then they won it all. Um, but their pitching's great, hitting's great. I think they eke it out. They eke out the NL East over the Phillies. Chris, what do you got?
I do think that Acuna is electric, definitely. Who stole 60 bases? No one. Of course not. No, he completely changed the game, created his own club. Fantastic. But I think that the Phillies, they're just they're just a little bit better in their lineup. I really do. I think that they are. I think that they have the advantage in the starting rotation as well. Um, I mean, I know the Braves brought in Chris Sale. Chris Sale's going to get hurt. So, it is what it is. But I think
Same
Bryce
for a
Harper is on
decade.
an MVP train this year. And I really think he's just going to put the team on his back. You got Trey Turner, you got JT Realmuto, still best catcher and hitting catcher in baseball right now. I like the Phillies. I think the Phillies are going to be really, really good. And it's a coin flip with these two. It really is. I mean, whoever we pick, the other team's going to be our wild card pick anyway. So it is what it is. I'm going to go
Yes.
with the Phillies. I love Trey Turner. I love Bryce Harper. I hate Phillies fans, but hey, they're going to make a run. They're going to back their team, and it's going to be fun.
I love Phillies fans because they're the closest I'd say to Yankees fans.
Sure.
When things are great.
And love it for some reason. You love being assholes.
When
Good for you guys.
things are great, there's no crazier
This is
state.
the problem with America right now.
Oh,
People
God.
love being assholes.
All right,
Kick us over to our other podcast.
yeah, we're not doing
No.
no sports. Let's stay in our lane here. All right, moving on. NL Central. Couple options here that are intriguing for sure, but we differ on this one. But I am going with the Chicago Cubs as your NL Central winner. And I love what they did this offseason. Look, the Pirates are 5-0 right now. They're going to be maybe a little better than people expected, but I think with O'Neal Cruz healthy, going to be good. The Brewers are 3-0, but they played the Mets. I don't think the Brewers are going to be great. They do have a lot of young talent. Jackson Chourio, number one prospect in baseball. He's already up and looking good.
Number one prospect in baseball.
Well,
Hello.
he
Jackson
was
Holiday.
last year's number one prospect. All right. Okay. And the Reds are fun as hell, and I think they're going to be right there. I don't like I don't like the Cardinals, but I believe that's your pick.
Yes, it is.
Let me hear before I talk. Before I counter with the Cubs, let me hear what you like about the Cards.
What I really like about the Cardinals is the influx of veteran pitchers that they brought in. And while they're not going to win you the game themselves, they'll keep the game close and keep you in the game to get to a bullpen that I think is really good. They're sans Jordan Hicks, who went to the Giants, but Jordan Hicks was kind of a grenade for them half the time that they had him out there. Helsley stays healthy this year. They've got a good back end of the bullpen, and they've got a veteran rotation with some young guys in the lineup to pepper in with Nolan Arenado and Goldschmidt, who I don't think are super on the decline just yet. I think Nolan Gorman has a good year. I think that they have Wynn, who came up at shortstop, has a good year. I think they have a solid team of veterans and young players who are just going to gel for this year. And this is what the Cards do, just what they do. So I really think that their talent scouting is really good. And just when picking this division, I was like, oh, that's gross. Brewers lost this team, oh, Pirates, yeah, we're really gonna raise the Jolly Roger that much. The biggest thing I could say is, the Cubs brought in probably the biggest signing, which was a manager, right? They brought in a Maganaga, Shoda, Shoga, Imanaga. They brought in the guy.
No, you got it.
Shota Imanaga.
There it is.
Yeah. But I really think that Craig Counsell at manager is the biggest difference for them. But they did just lose Justice Steele to an injury. The Nationals aren't there yet. I'm sorry. The Brewers aren't there yet. The Reds, I don't think, are there yet. So it kind of by default went with the veterans and went with the Cardinals because I think this is just what they do. They're going to steal the division this year.
It's a pedigree pick. I get it.
100%.
You're a big Triple
Lance
H
Lynn
guy.
comes in, 0 earned. Who cares? Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who's out there.
I don't like their rotation. I mean, Sonny Gray's been very good, and I think I'll have a fine season, but Miles Michaelis is prone to blow-ups. Lance Lynn is prone to blow-ups. Kyle Gibson's prone to blow-ups. Steven Matz
every once in a
be
while,
okay. Steven Matz could be okay. It could be bad. I don't know. I don't know. That doesn't scare you in a series, in a 3-game series. Doesn't scare you in a postseason series. I agree that their offense is decent, and I agree 100% that Goldschmidt and Arenado are not fully in a decline yet. Could happen soon, but especially Arenado, I still think he's there. But for me, it's the Cubs, and there's a couple reasons. You mentioned one, Craig Counsell, that was kind of a crazy turn of events.
Weird.
Very weird. Highest paid manager in baseball now. And it was like a coup stealing him away, I guess, from the Brewers. But Then for a while they didn't sign anybody. You're like, well, you know add some guys, but then they did. They brought back Cody Bellinger, which was huge. That cemented it for me as okay, we're going to compete again as the Cubs. They already have just from top to bottom solid players. Ian Happ, Seiya Suzuki, Dansby Swanson, Nico Horner, Christopher Morel is I'd say underrated. He's just good. He's just a consistent good bat. But for me, where it really kind of takes off was Imanaga. Now in the offseason, he was, kind of put aside. It was all about Yamamoto. But you looked at Imanaga's numbers in Japan and they were just almost just as impressive. And this spring he looked 10 times better than Yamamoto did. Yamamoto got blew up in his debut, and Imanaga made his debut on Monday and struck out 9 and 6 scoreless. So, and he looks phenomenal, and I have him on all 4 of my fantasy baseball teams.
He's the Roethlisberger in this free agency period from the
Mm,
overseas guys. It
mm,
was Yamamoto, Jung Lee, Imanaga, right?
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
one's a bat, the other's a pitcher or whatever, but it's the third guy you want, chip on his shoulder. He's
Yeah.
coming out
Yeah.
hot.
I like that. I like that comp there. So yeah, for me, they're they're the one that's going to come out atop the NL Central. And it's not so much that I think they can win the World Series, but once you get in, who knows? Um, but there's over under preseason says 83 and a half wins. I'm taking the over there for sure. And I like this team. So
I just don't see it. I don't see it. I like him too, but I don't see it.
that's fair. It's not a given. I'm not, oh my God, they're, a 90 plus win team, but
Can you name their rotation, by the way?
I can because
Justin Steele's out. Behind
I
that,
have
you
their
got Kyle
well,
Hendricks, Jordan Webb,
Steele's injury isn't that
Imanaga.
bad, right? I
No,
don't
no,
think
he'll be out for a little bit. He'll be back.
so. I mean, with Steele and Imanaga, those are 2 guys who have ace potential there. Hendricks is a veteran who I like him better than Lance Lynn. I'll say that.
Wow.
Um, and then Tyone is hurt. He always is, but he can be solid. Jordan Wicks, I don't know too much about. I don't love their rotation, but I like their lineup top to bottom, like I said. And I think they have 2 studs at the top of their rotation, Steele and Amanaga, and I like their bullpen too, even though Alzolay, who I like, got blown up a bit.
Who do you
But
like in their bullpen?
Drew Smiley's a veteran who can give you innings. Hector Neris has been a good reliever for a
I'll
while.
give you Neris for sure.
Julian Merriweather put up pretty decent numbers last year, if from what I recall. Um, Let me look it up to make sure I'm not bullshitting. Yeah, 3.3 ERA.
No, you're
He's a
good. You're good. All right, all
solid
right.
arm. I like Alzolay. He had a good year last year, and I think I like their team. I don't
Fair
think they're
enough.
amazing, but 85 wins is enough to win that division. I think they can
We
get there.
Yeah, we have the same assessment there for sure.
Fine,
For sure.
take it. All right. Lastly, NL West. It's kind of just you have to take the Dodgers. You have to.
Yeah.
They're too good. The roster's too good. Are they going to win the World Series? Who the fuck knows? But the Dodgers are always there, and they got better this year. They got a lot better than they already were. Even without Yamamoto and Ohtani, they're a World Series contender. So it's scary. They're a minus 550 to win the West. I ain't betting that,
No.
but I think it's kind of just you have to make that pick. Nobody else is winning that division.
No comment.
Not too much
Stay.
more to say. But
Ditto.
let's jump to the wild cards. Now, I believe you had I had the Braves winning the NL East. You had the Phillies. We both believe the other team is a wild card.
Yep. They'll
Uh,
both be in the playoffs.
yeah, the other team in the West that we think can make the team that we both well, there's 2. We both actually think 2 other teams can make it out of the West. We both think the D-backs will be there. We talked about their young stars. They were in the World Series last year. They'll be in the playoffs again. Now, we both have a different last wild card. Chris, who do you got?
I've got the Giants. The reason why is if you look at the calendar, it's the Giants' year. They do it every 1 to 2 years. They make a playoff run.
Me
And
too.
Conforto looks like he's a post-hype guy who's going to break. Jung Lee looks like he's going to be the real deal. And they've got a decent rotation in there and a decent bullpen still. And for some reason, they just figure out ways to do it. I went with the Giants over the Padres because for some reason the Padres figure out ways not to do it. So my kind of picks here logically was this is a better run organization that knows what they're doing, who they're scouting, where they're putting their money. And I think they had a nice windfall from not signing Judge last year, where they didn't commit as much money to people, so they could go out and make some moves this year. I think that they'll just figure it out, and we're gonna just hear some names that we didn't expect to hear. I think they'll end up being a wild card team, and I think they could do some damage for sure.
It's a toss up for me between the Giants and Padres as that last wild card. It really is.
Padres have the talent. I think the Giants are just more organized and
Yes, I
their
do.
money in the right spots.
They're the more successful organization for sure. They've always been smarter. Jordan Hicks looks like that was a coup of a signing there. He may have finally
So
put it all together. His first
he's gonna
start was
hurt
great.
himself.
They had Jock Peterson, and Jock Peterson teams always seem to just win in some way. They got Matt Chapman for cheap. They got Blake Snell for cheap. They did a nice job, and they brought in Lee, like you said. Um, it's going to be tight between them and the Padres, but I like Tatis a lot this year. Him and Machado in the middle of that lineup. And Mike King, who was the key in that Soto trade. As a Yankee fan, I watched him, and if he stays healthy, he has that ace potential. Guy dude, we talked about him way back.
Yep.
He has dude stuff, and he can be up there. He's got to put it all together, and he's got to stay healthy. But I think the Padres have just enough to squeak in with 82 wins or so and get that wild card.
I can see it. I think Machado's prime for a huge year, and
Yeah.
I was willing to commit whatever budget I needed to in auction to get Fernando Tatis. So I agree with you there,
Yeah.
but it's the rotation. It's the
I also
rotation.
like Mike Schilt. I don't know why. Maybe it's just his face, like his face.
Mike Schill from the Cardinals. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's Padres manager now. He's
Well,
just
yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Just like his face.
You like he's got a good face.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like a
It'll get you
Lego.
far.
It's kind of like a Lego head.
He's got a Lego head, so he can wear
Yeah.
hats.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's like just kind of goes square. That smart guy though. Good.
Yeah, clearly. There's a lot of room in that Lego head for brains.
Exactly. All right. Well, those are our division winners and our wild cards. Before we get to awards and our World Series prediction, I think we could do a little MLB opening weekend good, bad, and shitty. Chris, start us off. Who was your good from MLB opening weekend?
It's got to be Tyler O'Neill. Tyler O'Neill, I can't remember the last time he stayed healthy a whole year, but apparently he's been healthy for 5 straight opening days to be able to homer in them. He is what my grandfather would say, a great hitter because he's got a big butt, right? But he's on Boston now, not on the Cards, and he can turn on one. He's also got 5 category potential, so I think. But just seeing him homer on opening day for the 5th straight time, I don't think that's ever going to be done again. I think that's a pretty
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Impressive.
So, well, Red Sox suck this year, but go Tyler O'Neill. Do it again next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Keep it going. That's like when who was it? All right, this is great. This is great radio. Oh, Chris Davis, the power hitter, Chris Davis, not your Chris Davis.
K-Ris Davis?
KH Chris Davis. I think he hit 242 for like 4 straight seasons.
Says the power hitter.
Yeah, the other Chris Davis was.
Yeah, the A's Chris Davis on the terrible team. Okay.
He hit 247 on the dot for 4 straight seasons. 3 of those seasons he hit over 40 homers. So he was a power hitter. it wasn't the right comp to say Chris Davis versus Chris Davis. They were both power guys, but
That's a
I had
statistic
I,
I
I had
don't
it up
believe
here.
I've ever heard it.
That's a wild stat. He had 247 for 4 straight years.
I
Right on
never
that.
knew that. That's crazy.
Wild. And he was healthy all those years. He played 150 plus games. Wild. Weird, wild stuff. All right. My good, Mookie Betts. 4 homers, 10 RBIs already this season. Um, the guy is top 5. He's in there. And he just keeps getting it done. And I'm just so happy that the Red Sox
They get a
traded him.
bonus game in Korea though. Bonus 2 games too. So
Yeah, sure, but 4 homers, 10 RBIs in 5 games, 6 games.
that's like going on set. Ready, set. Mookie Betts goes. Everybody else waits.
Bottom line, he's a stud and had a great opening week.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's going to be in fantasy position eligible at outfield, second base, and shortstop pretty soon.
Shortstop. That's wild. And that's the other thing with it. I mean, just crazy. Anyway, moving on. My bad. Twin starter Bailey Ober. He gave up 8 runs in 1 1/3 innings. And well, that's awful in itself. It pissed me off for 2 reasons. A, I picked the Twins on his start because I liked him, and I also traded for him as a starter in Dynasty. So he messed up my Dynasty team, he messed up my bets, and made me look dumb. So Bailey Ober, get it together because I still have you on my Dynasty team, and I'm going to need you to not.
You just go with Overs from now on.
Overs. Well, if it becomes a trend, we might have to make that a thing.
New segment. Yeah,
let's do that. All right. Who's your bet?
I'll stick with the Twins. Really, really upset to see Royce Lewis get hurt again already. Guy's been like a #1 talent, #1 pick in baseball for years. Finally breaks out last year. We finally get to see what he's capable of. He's finally even, pushing Correa for starting time there or whatever, but goes out injured again. Royce Lewis not going to have a full season of stats again. And holding back my division winning Twins yet again. So Royce Lewis committed to him in fantasy on a couple of teams. And, nobody gets hurt every year unless your name's Royce Lewis.
Yeah. Or Byron Buxton for whatever reason that the Twins stars can't.
That's why they
can't really
couldn't DH exclusively all of last year.
The Twins are rallying. The Twins are rallying MLB front office to add 2 more DH spots. Tough times.
Or they're going to keep a podiatrist on staff for Royce Lewis and Carlos Correa for their feet.
Correa too. Jeez, what a disaster. Why did I? Oh, you picked them in the Central. They suck. Tigers are winning.
I'm sticking with it. I'm going to die on that hill.
Go for it. Right, keep us going. Who's your shitty?
My shitty is Josh Jung. Josh Jung, fractured wrist. We thought we got a steal on the our fantasy team named the Baby Makers. We're reading the outlook for it. Why the hell did this guy fall? Can't believe he fell to us. Unbelievable. Great postseason from Josh Jung, and fractured wrist, I assume, is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks. Any sort of fracture like that, especially when it comes to turning over your hands, being a power hitter, really, really tough, really hard to come back from. So I'm going to go chalk up this to an L in fantasy as drafting Josh Jung, because I just don't think until at least the second half of the season you see the numbers that you expect from him, because the wrist is really, really important. So
yeah, give the shitty to us drafting him and to the injury itself, not to or Josh Jung himself.
Good point.
Shitty. I had him last year in one of my teams, and I was very impressed. And he got hurt.
He's a beast.
Came back for the playoffs. He hit a 3-run homer tonight and looked great before that happened. So sucks. Injuries suck. That's all I'll say. My shitty, gotta talk about him. Shohei Ohtani, the Pete Rose of the LA Dodgers, very clearly has a gambling problem and blamed it all on his interpreter. I mean, this poor guy, Ippei Mizuhara. Look, maybe in some world, in some way, Ohtani had no idea that his translator was a degenerate gambler and had no idea he would take him for what, 4.5 million. and somehow got money wired to him from Shohei's account, and they didn't notice it until all of a sudden this guy Ipe was talking with ESPN was doing an interview with Ohtani's people there. This whole thing is just stinks.
Yeah, so sneaky.
Yeah. And the funny thing is MLB ain't gonna do shit about it because Shohei
Pick up the rug,
Ohtani is their
sweep
boy.
it right under.
Sweep right under the rug, say, Shohei, stop gambling and cover your tracks. Look, Shohei Ohtani is an unbelievable talent. Maybe, just maybe, this all is true. I think it's bullshit.
Do you?
And I really do. I just the way the story kind of came out and changed. Um, First they were just saying that Ohtani, they were trying to say that Ohtani wired him the money to help him with his gambling debt, and then they realized um that put Ohtani in trouble, and they're like, no, he stole it. He stole it. It was weird. I think it's kind of wild that it was just like swept a little bit under the rug. Poor guy got fired. And now there's like going after his character, saying he lied about being on the Red Sox, working on the Red Sox or something. They're like attacking his resume. Kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Uh,
this was let's set up Ippy for an interview. He'll be the fall guy. This is great. Didn't say what we liked, and we said, no, wait, no, this guy's really a liar now. Totally.
mhm.
It's either that or Shohei Ohtani is the biggest moron we have ever seen
Well, that's the thing. If it's
in
true,
all of sports.
he's an idiot, and that's even made me even more embarrassing.
In a complete moron. And you know what? From what, 13 years old, 14 years old, however young you are in Japan, when you start out this prodigy, this baseball career, whatever, I get you're probably not going to school like the other kids. You're probably not getting the life experience that the other kids are getting. I get it, but you're a fucking moron. This is what actually happened, that this guy could log into your bank account, that this guy could influence the public on your behalf, and nobody stopped him. Like, so yeah, either you're right or this guy is the dumbest guy in all of sports.
Either way, looks bad on Ohtani. He's a shit
Yeah.
for sure. All right, that was good, bad, shitty. A little MLB opening weekend edition. Let's keep it rolling here with our MLB season preview and go to our awards. Let's start with American League Rookie of the Year. And Chris, you and I are in agreement here. It's Wyatt Langford.
Yeah. I think he flashed his talent at the very beginning of the season here, and it's real. This guy was like a mythical figure to me. I was like, no, wait, what about Evan Carter? Evan Carter is the guy that was here first, but it doesn't matter. This guy's gonna lap him. And as long as he gets the playing time, which now seems like there's a lineup spot open up and everybody's moving up with Josh Jung out, I think Wyatt Langford is going to actually really show that he is the truth. He is the real deal. It's going to be very annoying in the American League to have to deal with him, but I don't think Jackson Holiday, I think missing out on a month or two of statistics, I don't think that's going to help his cause. I think it's, again, still a team trying to manipulate, time or whatever, but, it's my team, so I don't care. Guy's still there, it is what it is. But Wyatt Langford, I mean, he's up, he's running, he's fast, and he's a great hitter.
Yeah, he's impressive. And he was not on my radar kind of at the beginning of the offseason or when last year ended, because he was a draft pick in 2023. He was drafted
Yeah.
4th overall. So obviously pedigree's there. But you don't usually in baseball see these guys make it this quick. But he's up and he already looks like a middle of the order guy. So it makes the Rangers scary. And yeah, I mean, I think Evan Carter could maybe have a sophomore slump. I traded him away in Dynasty. He's off to a slow start.
Yeah.
Langford looks like the guy. I don't think Carter's bad, but I think he's more of kind of like a 20-30.
Anybody named Wyatt has that country strength too.
Yeah, yeah. He looks like he's fun to watch, and the team, if they can stay healthy, they'll be right there again. On to the National League. My National League Rookie of the Year. We talked about him a little bit before. Shota Imanaga. This guy, I think he's better. He might be better than Yamamoto, and people didn't even realize it. It's look, Yamamoto, he had a better second start. He's going to be unbelievable. He very well may win this Rookie of the Year. but Imanaga is already showing the results. He seems to be ahead of the curve as far as adjusting to major league hitting. He's a bit of a veteran. He's got more experience. So I think that's kind of why he fell under the radar a bit because he's older. People like the young kids. But I mean, just you watch him today, he's unbelievable. 9 Ks in 6 innings and Cubs home opener. They have an ace there. So I really like him. And I have Imanaga. Yamamoto's gonna be there. You, Chris, you have another Japanese import.
I do. Jung Lee, baby. Woo! J.H. Lee, as it says on the back of his uniform.
That's badass. I
Looks the
like
part
J.H.
already.
Lee.
I mean, he came in, he just wants to go ahead and fit into this lineup. He fits the ballpark. He's the type of player the Giants like. I think he could be a doubles guy. He's got a decent amount of power, but also is just going to hit for average. And I think could be a 300 hitter. So it's really early to judge any of these guys who just came over into the league and haven't even, grown through the, traditional minor league routes and everything. But I'll take a flyer and throw a dart at Jung Lee, being on a team that I expect to overperform people's expectations, and him to get like a lot of the spotlight because of it too.
Yeah. Nice. I don't take the pick. Should be interesting.
Dude, it's a coin flip between those two. If Imanaga keeps putting up lines like he's Corbin Burns,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, speaking of Corbin Burns, American League Cy Young winner, Chris Corbin Burns.
I just mentioned him. Corbin Burns, holy crap. I don't know good pitching, so anybody watching, don't trust me. Clearly have
Yeah,
never watched good pitching on my teams.
yeah. That's
But
why we share a team. You go after the hitting, I'll build the pitch.
yeah, I'm trying to always convince you about pitchers, and I'm most likely wrong on most of them. But at the end of the day, like it's exciting to have this guy here. I don't love that
Yes.
Hadley doesn't feel comfortable hugging him just yet. It doesn't seem like, but
Really?
I
That's the
don't
thing.
know. I don't know. There was a couple glove taps. A little, he hugs the closers, I guess. So it is what it is. But 6 innings, 1 hit, 11 Ks. Your 1 hit is a homer to Trout, which is kind of funny. Helped my fantasy team, but then you shut them down. It's the Angels, so it's early. But I mean, a man with a spin rate like that is going to take us far as long as he stays healthy. And I really hope that he falls in love with the city, the team, and he wants to stay because those are the things that we have to do. We don't just open the purse. We have to make sure that they like us as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah. And
I'm
you
going
got
with
that
Corbin
wall.
Burns, most likely due to a lot of attrition as well. Garrett Cole out, a couple of the Rays pitchers injured. So at the same time, I think he's just the last man standing as well.
Yeah. Fair
What about
enough.
you?
I was close to picking Burns. I love him. I think he's just an absolute ace. He's a dude. When they got him for what they got him for, and they didn't have to give up Kierstad or Westberg, or I wanted to see one of the bigger names go. I was a little upset, but I mean, they got their ace, and
Alger Mayo,
it
yeah.
makes them dangerous.
Yep.
But I am going with the guy I mentioned before, Tarek Skubal. Just unbelievable electric stuff. He seems to put it all together now. He was great for me and my fantasy team last year, and just watching him in spring, he looked like he's got it all together. I think he is going to lead the Tigers to a AL Central win and be the Cy Young. So, Scooble, let's do it.
A lot of expectations on him this year, but it's a solid pick. He's
Yes,
that good.
he's a popular pick. He went high in drafts. I think people are starting to realize how good he is, and he's showing it. But on to the NL. I'm going to go with who I think is the flat out best pitcher in the NL, and that's Spencer Strider. That guy gets 8+ strikeouts every time out there. He's now in his third year. He was kind of not that top prospect, but since he's come up, he's done nothing but perform. And he's an ace on who I think one of the best teams in the NL. I think they're the NL East winner, and I just think he's the favorite for the Cy, and I just think he wins it. But you disagree. Who do you got?
Well, it's hard to argue. I mean, I'm just basically just agreeing to
I
disagree
went
on
chalk on this
that.
one. Just
Yeah, it is what it is. You get the thighs like Saquon Barkley. You're going to drive the ball. You're going to create spin. You're going to be good. I mean, you're on the one of the best teams. I think the Phillies and them are a toss up again. So my NL Cy Young is the ace of the Phillies staff, which is Zach Wheeler. So it seems like whoever gets the best of these matchups here might end up being the one who wins this. But at the same time, there are a lot of good pitchers in the NL as well. But these are the guys that are going to lead their teams to glory and hopefully get their own glory as well. I went Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler, I remember a time he was the third best pitcher on the Mets, and he's the ace of the Phillies.
I mean,
And the Mets have to be hating themselves for prioritizing those other two above Zach Wheeler because he's outlasted, and I think he's gonna have a great year this year. He looks like a stud, but yep, toss up. I mean, I can't argue with Spencer Strider either.
yeah. Again, I went Chuck, but I love Wheeler too. He's probably my second pick. And yeah, I'm not gonna shit on the Mets anymore than they
Oh,
need to
I
be
am.
shit on, but I love it. I love that you hate the Mets. I'll let you because I can let you shit on them while I can sit aside and just enjoy every second
I
of
gotta be nice though. It's the only stadium I can actually walk into in Philadelphia. That's the
it. All
sorry.
right. Cy Young's in the books. On to MVP. We're in agreement. It's Juan Soto. He
Yeah.
is the best all around hitter in
And he's
baseball.
having fun playing baseball this year too. He's having a fucking blast
Yeah, you could tell right
already.
off the bat. It's awesome. I hope he stays here for the rest of his career. They lock him up big time. They have to. They just absolutely have to. Every big hit he had this weekend, you go on Twitter and Yankee fans are just like, 100 years, 50 billion. Just lock him up.
Yeah, this should be the biggest contract in baseball. If it's not, you
It
made a
has to be.
mistake.
Yeah, it has to be. And if you have to defer whatever bullshit to beat Otani, I don't even care. Look, Otani's a hitter and a pitcher, so I don't know if he's really gonna get that 700. But for him at 25 too, also like that's the crazy part. He's still so young. Um, he's the MVP in the American League. He's in a contract year or two, and that adds to it. Like he's looking to play. He's having fun in New York, and he wants his money. So
Yep. Yep.
onto the NL. I mentioned him as my good. I think he is underrated. If anything, he's clear top five player. Mookie Betts does everything. Has more power than he really even should because he's not a big guy. But he can play the outfield. He can play shortstop. Like if you play second, short, and every outfield position, I mean, there's really no guys that can do that at a high level. Impressive. But who you got?
Yeah, no, hard to argue against that. I've got Bryce Harper. I've mentioned him several times as the MVP. I just think it's a Bryce year, just like it's a Giants year, just like it's a Cardinals year. It's a Bryce year.
I really like the pick, and I think he can win it. I was close to picking him along with you, but I
Man is
didn't want to.
determined.
Yeah,
Determined.
I love Bryce. We've always loved Bryce. Hard not to. All right, those are our awards, and now to cap it off, who's winning it all, baby? Who is hoisting the trophy at the end of the season? Last year, it was. I mean, I'm kind of
Yes.
still in shock that Texas did that. And it was the Rangers and Diamondbacks. It was just such a random World Series. It was a fun one from what I remember, but Adolis Garcia is a beast, and he is one of those guys who brings in the ratings. You love to watch. He's got that power. I think he homered Monday night. He's just been unbelievable. I don't think that the Rangers make it back. I'm going Homer, and I'm going with a classic matchup. Yankees Dodgers in the World Series, and the Yankees come out on top in 6 games. Juan Soto is your World Series MVP,
Wow.
and yours, mine, everybody's New York Yankees are your World Series champions once again. Chris, how's that sound to you?
It sounds terrible. I'm not spoken for by you, sir. Absolutely
I've
not.
been waiting for 28 for a long time now.
Oh yeah. Okay, great. You were alive for however many. That's how many you should count.
Four.
But anywho,
Pretty
I
good
go for
number.
the Orioles.
Four World
So I
Series that I've
complete
watched.
Homer pick. I'm talking over because I'm not listening to it. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. But anywho, I put the Orioles in it.
Yeah.
You had Yankees, Dodgers. That is
Yeah.
very logical. I went completely illogical. A
I
team
love
with
it.
zero postseason experience or zero postseason wins under their belt, and the Orioles, and an organization with pretty much every other World Series, it feels like all the time, which is the Giants. A lot of orange in October, Halloween colors for the World Series. That's what I'm going
Ooh,
for. I think that
spooky.
the Giants got so many value picks in free agency from Chapman, from Snell, from Jung Lee, to even Conforto the year before. They've got guys like Tyro Estrada. They've got guys like Camilo Duvall who have come up from their organization. I think the Giants make a miracle run. Somehow the Dodgers are crippled by injuries. The Orioles decide we're going to put it together. This is the year. We're going to make a run. And then I go O's and 5 because the
Wow.
Orioles will be the
Wow.
team that's supposed to be there,
Wow.
and the Giants will be the team that was lucky to get there. It's my prediction.
You know, if the Giants make the World Series, they win. I mean, that's just it's their year. Then you're not gonna beat them. If it
No,
actually happens, you're not gonna stop.
I know, I know, I know. I'm going against the grain. If the Giants make it, they usually win, but not this year.
Yeah.
Too much orange.
I like it. I like it.
October.
We got to take a stand here. I'm excited you took the Giants. They do have a good team, a better team than kind of people expected. They made some late smart signings, and they'll be good. They'll be right there. But the Yankees are winning the World Series, and that's that. So I hope you're ready for it, Chris. Hope
Uh,
you are ready.
there's nothing new. They won the World Series all the time. I don't care.
It's been a
Anyway.
while. It's been a while. All right. That's baseball. We fucking love baseball. It's our sport. It's so good. We're betting on so bet. I've been red hot to start. Tread water a little bit the last 2 days, but the way I'm betting, man, we're not going to lose money this year. We're not losing money on MLB and NBA. Man, that shit's too unpredictable. It doesn't make sense. You don't know who's playing on what night. Baseball, you know who's starting, unless you're the Tampa Bay Rays and you're just going to throw some asshole opener out ruining baseball. But you know who's starting, who's in the lineup, who's going to produce. It's a little more predictable. It's sports. It's never predictable, but it's predictable enough where, and we know enough where we're winning money. So follow us on SoBet, subscribe on YouTube. We appreciate all of the support for the Sports Clash. We love you guys. We're going to keep it going, though. Finish our MLB season preview. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk a little NCAA.
Just a little, please.
March Madness is coming to a close, and it's been something else. Chris, you had a nice March making picks. You're right there. You're sharp. You're above 500, but could have been you were like one or two big wins away from really having a great March, and one or two teams maybe you liked that or you didn't like that you should have. Talk to me about the tournament, man. I mean, it's been crazy.
So I hate this sporting event now going forward forever and forever and for always. I definitely do. Making picks round by round was kind of rough, especially the first two rounds. And then it ended up down being chalk. I'm lucky to finish above 500. Made a couple of unit plays that put me below, wherever I wanted to be. But at the same time, being above 500 when some of my plays were missing by a half a point, by 1 point, by 1.5 points on a regular basis, that was the frustrating part.
Yes,
The 20-0 runs, the 30-0 run by
it's
UConn.
wild. It's wild.
It's not predictable.
Yeah.
And, of course the books are feeling it too. So, anybody who picked it the opposite way is crushing it. But, when I take an over of 135.5 and UConn is accounting for over 66% of those points and they miss by a point, I'm okay with that loss. You know what I mean?
You
But
were
it ended
right.
up being, well, yeah.
You were right in your it's all about your analysis and like the pick made sense. It was your thought
Right.
process was correct. It just you were that close.
Should have listened
It
to you on the
happens.
NC State run.
That's wild, man. I should have listened to myself on the NC State run. I took
Should have
him,
listened.
I took him into the I think the Sweet 16 in one of my brackets.
Should
But
have just listened to who were the hot teams coming into the bracket this year, which isn't always the case. Sometimes the hot team falls on their face, but Purdue, they lost in their conference tournament, but by far and away, they were the most. I believe they were ranked number one most out of any team this year, outside of UConn, who again is in the Final Four. Right, Alabama's an anomaly. That's bullshit. They just ended up shooting, getting hot from three. That's all their offense is predicated on. Is we're going to shoot as many threes as we can and hope to get one or two offensive rebounds every once in a while. That's their offense to a T. But I think we ended up with a Final Four with a nice Cinderella. NC State, Alabama, 0 cents. Don't root for them. They suck. They're a terrible team. UConn and Purdue, who were probably the two most formidable, most talented teams out there outside of a Houston, outside of in Arizona, who those teams tend to lose because they don't really have it in terms of depth. And that's what happened with Houston. Jamal Shead goes down, sad injury. I hope the guy makes it to the NBA. I hope he's a first round pick. I hope he has an incredible year because he's a great leader. But I think we're pretty much just going to forego the Final Four and end up with UConn and Purdue here.
yeah,
Um,
which was
and
essentially the chalk final.
yeah, which is weird. It doesn't happen that often, but it's the one pause that I'll give the NCAA tournament for being as overblown and ridiculous as it is to have 68 teams in it. The probably the two best teams are going to emerge from it for the national championship, which is exciting. And if it's Purdue and UConn, man, I love this tournament. It's the best ever. It's the greatest. The war of attrition that's great, but it's the injuries, it's the huge runs, it's the Cinderellas that ruin it for me now. And I don't like that. And it's not because I'm betting on it, because I very lightly bet on this tournament personally. Push the picks ended up being great, or close to above 500 and doing pretty good. But it's unpredictable, and that's annoying because at the end of the day, my champion should be the champion of champions. We should start at 16 and say, hey, you all duke it out. Just like football. I hope it doesn't get so overblown. I don't want to
Yeah,
have
it's a little crazy.
24 teams, 24 football teams playing because just like basketball on any given Sunday, on any given Tuesday, on any given whenever it is, you go on a run, you get an injury, a miracle happens.
Yeah.
But I think eventually we're going to end up with UConn and Purdue. And
Yeah.
I don't want to make that pick, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to
You
say
say
it's
UConn? All
UConn.
right. Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. UConn. I mean, Purdue faced
so
one
good.
team. Purdue has faced one decent team so far. It was
Right.
Tennessee, and they almost lost. It was a tight game. They ended up covering in the end. Um, Edie's playing well. He's looking good, but I stand by my I don't think he's NBA all-star caliber. I just don't
That's fine. There are those
think so.
college guys that fade
Yeah,
into the bushes like Homer
it
Simpson.
happens.
It is what it is. Like he's gonna win the Naismith. He's that good,
Yeah.
and he's that good at college basketball. I think
Yes.
you look at
And
it
he's
more of an
tall as
NBA
fuck.
lens. I look at more of a college lens.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. And to your point of too many teams, the tournament basketball wise would probably be better and make more sense if it was 32 teams. That being said, would it be as fun, especially for the
Sure,
casual? Would they be,
of
getting
course.
as many ratings, as many sponsorships? No, so it's not going away anytime soon. And
Yeah,
that
completely agree.
first weekend is very fun.
That's a
Uh,
blast.
unless you lose your champion Auburn in the first game. I
So
couldn't.
you talk about Purdue's like kind of easy walk to this outside of Tennessee. UConn missed out on playing Auburn, one of the best defensive, best coach teams in the tournament, and missed out on playing Iowa State because of early upsets. I
Mhm.
would have loved to see UConn play both those teams and then felt good about UConn being the champion. But UConn ended up in a situation where they're playing people who don't deserve to be playing UConn,
Yeah.
right? And it is what it is. It's the format of the tournament, but they'll be your champion, and maybe they should have. But I'd still love to see them play Auburn, and I'd still love to see them play Iowa State.
Yeah. Well, not happening. We'll see.
That's
It's
all
been
I
fun.
got.
It's been
UConn's gonna
fun.
win it all. Death
Yeah.
taxes. UConn in
I
March.
I have one bracket. Well, this was my daughter's bracket, which I filled out for her. Um, she's not quite at the bracket picking level yet
So it wasn't her
at
fault.
2.5 months. But that her bracket was better than my main bracket. I went UConn on that. I went Auburn on my main bracket. But yeah, I could finish top three, but I need Purdue to lose this round. So
It's possible. NC
that could
State. I mean,
be.
I'm not even gonna make a pick against them again. On so bad I picked against them every single fucking
Yeah, you could have killed yourself there.
eliminate those picks, and I'm 65%
Yeah.
probably. But
Yeah, I mean DJ Burns, man, he was the guy who I said like, wow. When I watched them play UNC, I was like, wow, this kid, he's a beast. He's a big boy who knows what he's capable of consistently. But
well,
I
it's
liked
it's
it,
DJ
and
it's DJ Horn too. It's
yeah,
Burns and Horn. It's the DJs. They are spinning it. They are crushing it. They are fantastic. I thought Horn.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought Burns is the type of guy that gets tired throughout the tournament, regardless of how many days rest. Just
yeah,
playing, one day rest, next day each weekend might get to him in those second games. But
yeah.
Edie's looking like he's dogging it more than Burns is. So, but DJ Horn's been incredible throughout the tournament. And the entire NC State roster has been incredible. And I still believe that their coach has no idea what he's doing. But they're here
They're here.
and they're
That's all
wearing
that
the glass
matters.
slipper.
Yeah, I'll be rooting for him. Well, they're on during WrestleMania, so I'm not going to be watching those games whatsoever.
You
WrestleMania
imagine Burns in
weekend, baby.
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania weekend in Philly. DJ Burns could be there, man. He could, be a beast. But it's in Philly. It's gonna be a fun weekend. Cody Rhodes gonna finish the story. Yeah, I'm talking WWE. I
Let's
don't
go.
care. That's my jam. It's always been. But I mean, having people over, having a nice weekend. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to it every year. So
Hell yeah.
let's go. But yeah, tournament will be. I won't be watching this Final Four, but I'll tune in for the championship whenever that is, and
I'm
try
more
to.
excited to watch Caitlin Clark play for the national championship than I am this Final Four.
Yeah, yeah. When is that game?
No clue, but I'll figure it out.
All right. Come on, I put you on the spot.
It's going to be probably Thursday.
All right. It's awesome to see what Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball, and other kind of stars like I mean Angel Reese. That was the battle Monday night. I think Reese got a little hurt, from what I saw, but Caitlin Clark is just. I mean, she can shoot like nobody else can. At least no women, and but
Man or woman?
not only that,
Man or
like
woman?
yeah, crazy
Incredible.
shot. She's just always she hits from basically half court too. It's nuts, but fun stuff. Really good to see, and bringing so many eyes to women's basketball. It's a cool thing. So, got anything else on tournament or anything else in general that you want to touch on?
No, man. I'm excited for baseball season,
It's the best.
March to be over,
Best.
the
Warm,
madness to be over.
warm weather, baseball every day. All I
Very
they
good.
more day gaming, more day games. Spread it every day. I want a
Yeah,
1 o'clock game, a couple 4 o'clocks, 7 o'clocks, and 10 o'clocks. Like I want to be able to have that on in the background all day. Come
I
on, man.
agree. There should be
Make
a
it happen.
1 o'clock game every single game, whether
Yeah,
it's on the West Coast, it ends up at 4 o'clock,
yeah,
whether it's 1 o'clock on the East Coast, whether it's 3:30 or whatever in
yeah,
Central Mountain Time. Don't care. There should be an early game every single game
yeah.
because that's how you get more eyes on the sport.
Hmm.
You can put it in prime time, put it on ESPN. Who cares? It's better than seeing Stephen A all afternoon, right?
Don't get me started. Who would want to listen to idiots talk sports? It's insane.
No
Tune
idea.
into the Sports Clash. But seriously, thank you for everybody for your support. We had over 500 views on our NCAA tournament preview, which is awesome to see. And the Sobet's growing, TikTok's growing. We're trying to keep up with it. It can be tough, but we're making this happen. We're not stopping. And we love sports. We love baseball. It's our season, and we're gonna keep rolling. So thank you everybody for listening. Keep it up. Like, subscribe, follow. We appreciate every little bit.
Let's go. Oh,
Yankees, baby. About to be 5-0. Finish off the Snakes tonight.
yeah, an easy schedule.
Oh yeah, Houston. Start the season off in Houston.
Those
Real
guys just
easy.
lie down.
Real easy. Real
They
easy.
love trash cans. They put themselves in them.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Well, bud, it was fun. MLB season preview in the books. Another episode of the Sports Clash in the books. Thanks everybody for listening. Have a great night.